6 Packers to watch during Friday's family night practice at Lambeau Field. Green Bay, wise. There are plenty of special things about football season in this city, but one of the coolest is the Green Bay Packers' annual family night at Lambeau Field. Nowhere else in the NFL can you find an early August practice that draws more than 60,000 fans. Maybe the Chicago Bears fans are right that there isn't as much to do on a Friday night in Green Bay as there is in Chicago or, say, New York or Los Angeles. But family night is a neat tradition here in football heaven, nonetheless. Advertisement: I think there's a couple teams out there that have opportunities in their stadiums where a lot of people come to watch, but I've never experienced anything like this, eighth-year head coach Matt LaFleur said.
Wet boots ruining your mornings? This silent, fanless dryer gently dries boots, shoes, and gloves overnight while helping reduce damp odors, so your gear is ready when you are. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/4 right now.
It's so good for our young players. It's really the first time you're in our stadium. Hopefully, we get 60,000 or whatever we're going to get, but it feels more like a preseason game than a practice. Speaking of those young players, here are 6 to keep an eye on who have been turning heads through 7 training camp practices, if you'll be in the building Friday night or watching the team's live stream of practice. Brandon Siss, CB, the rookie second-round pick, has lived up to his draft slot so far. His current place in the starting lineup came because Carrington Valentine injured his hamstring, but Siss is getting a prime opportunity, nonetheless, to perhaps Wally Pipp an incumbent starter on the outside. If anything, he's already above veteran free agent signing Benjamin St. Just on the depth chart, and St. Just hasn't exactly been a slouch through 7 practices. I'm just really impressed with his confidence, wide receiver Christian Watson said of Siss. He doesn't look like he's panicking when he's going up against the first group. Really good player, fellow South Carolina product Kaizian Nixon said. I think every time we have an install or anything, he's taking notes, he's learning fast, and he's technically sound, St. Just said. He has great feet, so that's very impressive for a rookie, honestly. I think he's a really talented guy, LaFleur said. I don't know how well you guys know him from the locker room, but I mean, he is an A-plus human and he loves football. I think every time he goes out there, there's a lot of good things and then there's a lot of teachable moments. But I think he's a guy that the sky's the limit for him. Isaiah Neyor, W.R. LaFleur's stock compliment for players, is saying that they're outstanding. Hearing him describe Neyor's transformation earlier this offseason was different. Advertisement: I'd say it's night and day for him, the head coach said. He's really shown a lot of flashes of excellence. He's another big, long guy that can run. You can never have enough of those guys, especially at that position. Neyor went undrafted last year and signed with the Packers on Aug. 6, 2025, before spending the regular season on the practice squad and the playoff game on the active roster. LaFleur's comment came on June 11 this year. Neyor has continued making plays in training camp, and did so again during Thursday's closed practice with a slick sideline grab from quarterback Kyle McCord that safety Kitten Oladapo nearly broke up, and an acrobatic touchdown catch from McCord, who floated one up against a zero blitz while deftly pushing off Oladapo. Neyor might be fighting for 1 or 2 roster spots at the bottom of the wideout depth chart, and it'll be hard to turn away someone whose physical traits have matched his practice production so far. I feel like I have an advantage over a lot of DBs with height, weight, speed, size, length, all of those combined, said Neyor, who's listed at 6 feet, 4 inches and 218 pounds. So I feel like it just comes down to me just using those to the best of my ability each and every time. Marshawn Lloyd, RB, anytime you get to see Lloyd on the practice field is time you shouldn't take for granted. That's simply how unfortunate his injury luck has been through the first 2 years of his career, during which he's only played 1 game. Knock on wood, that's exactly what General Manager Brian Gutekunst did on Thursday morning at the podium, but Lloyd has looked spry and healthy through a week of practice, while LaFleur and the team have been pretty cautious with Lloyd's workload. His speed and explosiveness are evident and often have been when he's healthy. He ran a seam route 25 yards downfield earlier this week and heck, he did a backflip on Thursday after waltzing into the end zone untouched in the flat. Lloyd said after practice that LaFleur told him the backflip was cool, but not to do anymore. Advertisement, the running backs weren't doing any celebrations when we were scoring, and the whole offense wasn't liking that, especially the receivers, Lloyd said. Came into the running back room and said, "You guys need to start celebrating more." That's the first thing that came to mind. I can't dance, so I don't know how to do all the dances they were doing, but I know how to do a backflip. If anything, Lloyd said the backflip was a great sign for his health ahead of what will be his first family night actually participating in 3 years. Anthony Campbell, DT 2 years after having no solo tackles and 1 pass breakup in 8 games at Miami, Campbell is running with the Packers' starting defensive line at times and batting down passes at the line of scrimmage like nobody's business. The 2025 undrafted free agent, who spent part of last season on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad before signing a reserve future deal with the Packers in January, is making a convincing case for roster inclusion, and not just because of his pass breakups. I do think he's getting better, and he's certainly been impactful in this first week, Gutekunst said, but he has great length and he's really using it well. Not only just batting passes down, but you guys have seen him when he strikes and he locks those guys out. That's a rare trait, and he's done a really nice job of that, so yeah, excited to see him getting some of these preseason games as well. John Williams, the 2025 7th-round pick, was an afterthought as a rookie, sidelined the entire season by a back injury. The most interesting thing about him was, and quite frankly might still be, his aerospace engineering major at Cincinnati. He's playing all over the offensive line early in camp, primarily at center, and could be an intriguing depth piece that people perhaps weren't considering entering this offseason. The Packers prefer their reserve offensive linemen play at least 3 spots, and Williams, a college left tackle who has also worked at guard in camp, checks that box. Advertisement, what he's done so far in a week has been pretty impressive with the fact he hasn't played football in a year, Gutekunst said. I think he's played almost all 5 spots, which is music to my ears. But at some point, I think he'll start to settle in somewhere so we can get a really good look at him. I'm excited to see the preseason games and see what he can do there. Brenton Cox Jr. Edge Cox has flown under the radar during camp, but he's made a handful of splash plays and did so again on Thursday in batting down a Tyrod Taylor horizontal pass attempt. Cox may not be the flashiest prospect among the edge rushers behind Lucas Van Ness. That group also includes Barron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, and Danny Dennis Sutton, but he's been here the longest. And don't forget the 2023 undrafted free agent had 4 sacks in just 7 games 2 years ago, before dealing with a groin injury that limited him to 4 games in 2025.